this moment, I'd like to call the town council meeting, the special town council meeting for January 20th, 2020 to order. Please call the roll.
Good evening. Councilor Gardner?
Here.
Councilor Kulturitis?
Present.
Councilor Schoon?
Present.
Councilor Tulowitzki?
Present.
And President Leanne Mellon?
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. At this time, before we rise for the moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance, I would just like to say, as a part of the moment of silence tonight, let's just please remember the following town of Munster employees. Michael Firedog Horvath passed away on December 24th, 2019. Michael was a firefighter for the Munster Fire Department for 40 years. He had joined the fire service in 1977 and retired in 2017. Michael was a driver-operator and was known to take meticulous care of his engine and was the go-to guy when you needed anything for the rig. And Carl Benjamin Jr. passed away January 8th, 2020. He was an Army veteran and a mechanic for the town of Munster for 18 years. We thank both gentlemen for their service to our town. This time, please rise. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right. At this time, if I have no objection from fellow council members, I'd like to read a statement and address the video recording of our meeting. Okay, seeing no objections. Before proceeding any further with tonight's meeting, I want to inform everyone in attendance that we are recording our meeting via the phone positioned on the tripod to my right. Unlike our January 13th meeting, it will not be live streamed on Facebook. At the previous meeting, there were members of the staff, council, and audience who were not made aware that the meeting was being recorded and live streamed on Facebook. I apologize to everyone who was offended or surprised by the notion that they were being viewed live without their knowledge. I realize that Indiana is a single consent state, so there was nothing illegal about the recording and live streaming. However, I believe that it should have been announced out of common courtesy to all attendees. This recording and live streaming of the January 13th meeting was the decision of our town manager and not a decision that was made by the town council. Mr. Anderson's recommendation and final decision on this matter may not reflect or does not reflect the input or a vote by the town council, and therefore may not reflect the final decision of this board. I'm not saying that we are not interested in discussing the recording options. I simply want to return control of this issue to the council and continue what Councilor Kulturitis initiated in the final meeting of 2019, where he asked the council for a motion to direct staff to research recording options and present them in the new year. It is my intent to carry out that thoughtful process put forward by Councilor Kulturitis so that the full council can review and discuss the information presented and come to a decision that best serves our community. At this point, I'm asking the council if they are willing to review and discuss the issue at a work study in the near future so that we can come to a clear resolution on the issue. I will entertain a motion now if anyone cares to study this further.
So moved. Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I would like to say that as input for the work study, I'd love to hear from the public. I'd love to hear some feedback. There is one that's now out there on Facebook. So if people have opinions, I think there's a plan to share tonight's recording.
I think we have it recorded, and then we can decide. I think we need to have a discussion with the full council, because if we do it this way one time, we do it this way the other time, it's willy-nilly. That's why we had wanted to discuss the options and make a decision so that we could be consistent. So with that being said, I think we wait until after, if everyone's in favor of doing a work study, we wait until that point.
Okay. I know sometimes if you're launching a new software, they call it A/B testing. You try it one way, you try it another way, you get feedback, and you see what you think the results are.
Right.
So as part of that work study, I'd like to see if we can find a way to get some input from the public about what what they would like. As you said, we're trying to serve the community.
Okay. All right, any other discussion? Okay. I do this voice vote?
A voice vote.
Okay. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We will set a work study. We have a conference coming up, and then we might actually learn some information that might help us do that.
Yep.
Or to work through that. Okay, so at this time, we will move to, we have special recognition tonight, and it is for the 2019 National Night Out Against Crime event recognition. The Munster Police Department and Choice Community Council of Munster held Munster's 24th Annual National Night Out Against Crime celebration on Tuesday, August 6, 2019, at the Munster Community Pool. This annual event is held to promote safety as well as police and community partnerships through a variety of activities for all ages. Activities included free swimming for Munster residents, kids' games and prizes, bounce houses, emergency vehicle displays, an appearance by former White Sox player Ron Kittle, a magic show, train rides, student performances, music, food, a community parade, over 120 booth participants, Munster's community market, and an awesome closing fireworks show. In addition, the Munster Police Department also added several days of pre-events from August 1st through 4th, which included safety bingo for senior citizens, a canned food drive for a local food pantry, a child safety seat inspection event, and a charity softball game that raised money for the Munster High School Best Buddies and included players from the Munster Police Department, Munster Fire Department, and Munster Schools. The 2019 National Night Out event involved the highest number of attendees, booth participants, and sponsors ever, and has become an extremely positive and memorable event for our community each year. Over 12,000 communities throughout the United States participated in the National Night Out Against Crime in 2019. And this past December, the Munster Police Department was notified that Munster's event had been ranked as the 8th best National Night Out Against Crime event in the United States in the 15,000 to 50,000 population category. And the Munster was the only Indiana community to be nationally ranked by the National Association of Town Watch. The Munster Police Department would like to thank the many dedicated volunteers who helped to either plan the event or who volunteered their time, many of which are present here this evening, along with the many sponsors, town employees, and attendees who helped to make this past year's event the best one yet. The Munster Police Department looks forward to planning our 25th anniversary National Night Out event starting this spring. Congratulations. This represents the planning committee and.
A number of the volunteers.
Do you have anything you'd like to say?
Sure.
Yeah, that would be fine. Come on up.
Yes, go ahead.
You can stand in front of us.
I just wanted to thank the council for recognizing this today, and I will give you most of it. There we go. I just want to thank the town council for recognizing this and for your support. I know that you guys read a proclamation last year before we had this event, and this event is really a great collaboration between all of the different facets of our town, whether it's the schools, the public works, and the fire department, the police department, and all of our great volunteers and businesses and community organizations. So I just appreciate everybody for your support.
And this is about half of Officer Grice's army, but I think we all can give everybody a round of applause for a job well done. We need one official for the papers.
All right, tighten up a little bit, guys, like you like each other. I keep getting people in front.
How, is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cheese.
We're gonna make number one this year.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Hold on.
to the left.
I'm sure this is cool.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much.
More people.
Okay.
Good? Now we have. See, this is what we got.
Congratulations. Yes, it is. You guys work so hard for that. It's a good thing. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
No, huh? Should I laugh? Okay, at this time, it brings us to the 45th Street construction update.
Evening.
Good evening.
Testing. Talk louder. Hey. Good evening.
Good evening.
Lee Randall with DLZ. As an update to the 45th project since our last meeting last week, dewatering continues at the underpass. That operation, the excavation, is expected to resume tomorrow.
How far down are you now?
They're about 12 feet on average.
Really?
Yes. So hopefully we'll be done in the next couple weeks with excavation, weather permitting, and progress that way. Since last week, beginning last Thursday, Friday, and then also this week, the contractor's been installing lighting foundations and cabinet foundations on 45th Street near Southwood, as well as 45th Street west of Calumet. That will also continue this week. The contractor did say that some of those lighting poles itself may be available sooner than expected, so hopefully they'll be getting those installed, and then we can also reestablish that circuit that is on East 45th near Southwood. So I don't know the exact schedule for that at this point, but obviously that's good news sooner than later. There is a significant lead time usually with those ornamental poles, things of that nature, so that's good in that respect. So, and then moving forward with the excavation, once that's underway, completed, then as mentioned previously, they will resume relief well installation underneath the underpass structure itself. And then they will also install drainage structures and then begin with the underpass itself as far as the bottom slab. So if there's perhaps any questions regarding anything with this project at this time?
Lee, I'm curious, for residents who are following this,
Yes.
it's an exciting thing, like when is the time you would recommend you go out and you can see the road start to go under? Or when is there an exciting thing for people to check out?
Probably when it's a lot warmer. I would highly recommend that. At this point, it's hard to tell, with weather, pending things of that nature.
I guess I
as
don't mean
far
so much
as-
when, but like, what's the milestone where it's gonna be like, visible?
It'll be, well, the structure itself should be completed, probably September, October of this year. So I would assume that the contractor schedule, I'm guessing at this point, probably, early this spring, getting started with that and being able to see some significant changes in that respect.
I guess it's maybe a question to Dustin, but with the website and pictures on there, are there pictures on of project development timelines and stuff like that?
We have a construction monitoring camera, so what you can do is you can look at time lapses of not only the construction and excavation associated with the shoe fly, but the cutover and the train running on the new alignment. We've since moved that camera to a location where you can see different angles of that excavation. So that is at current projects 45th grade subdivision.
Okay, so that's on the website. The residents can take a look at that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good, thanks.
Are there any more questions? Okay, thank you.
Good, all right, thank you. It's time, this brings us to the open to the public session. It's 2 minutes maximum per person, or 5 minutes for a group spokesperson. Please keep your comments civil and constructive to public policy issues. The chair at its sole discretion may recognize individuals wishing to speak on different topics at any time and may end the open to the public session. All speakers will be timed by the clerk treasurer. And this portion of the meeting shall not exceed 20 minutes. Do you have anyone from the public wishing to speak tonight?
Hello, my name is Jim Carboni. I'd like to encourage you guys, your address?
Address, please.
1245 River Drive. I'd like to encourage you guys to live stream. I was very pleased last week when I found out usually I'm working, can't get here live. So please consider that strongly. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Going once, twice. Okay, seeing no one else, we'll close the open to the public session. And that brings us to the consent agenda.
I move to accept the consent agenda as given.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, Wendy, can you call the roll, please?
Very good. Counselor Gardner?
Yes, or aye. What do I say? Aye?
Yes is fine.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I went second last time, so I'm not sure what it is.
Counselor Kulturitis?
Yes.
Counselor Schoon?
Yes.
Counselor Tulowitzki?
Yes.
And President Mellon?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us down to general orders. And these are the assignments, the appointments and portfolio assignments. We looked at this. This has the list of everything that was assigned the last time. We do have a few liaison positions, some that are remaining, and they don't meet regularly, or they are alternates. Like for instance, we need the Lake County Solid Waste Board liaison, like an alternate in case someone can't make it.
Oh.
So at this time, because, and also Hammond Sanitary District, we don't have a liaison for that. Little Calumet River Commission, the coordinator with the school town. So there are several, and at this point, I would like to get input as to who, because now we have like the meetings assigned that happen regularly. So I wonder at this time, Wendy, and you can help me out too, since all of these are as necessary from what I can see. Except, yes, all of the ones that are outstanding. Could we possibly ask for individuals to email me their interest and availabilities, like since I said, we have the regular meetings, the liaison set for that.
Okay.
If that would be a way to do it, so then we could appoint at the following meeting.
With the February 3rd, that'd be fine.
Would that be fine?
All right, do you have the
Yes.
same list that I do? It's the Board of Safety alternate liaison, the
Yes.
Lake County Solid Waste Management Board alternate,
Yes.
a backup to the Little Calumet
Yes.
alternate, and then we need a coordinator with the school town,
Yes. And I also have Hammond Sanitary District.
a backup. Because we do have a representative for
Right.
the Hammonds, yes.
A resident.
Yes.
Correct, yes.
What is the expiration date for that?
Is that the one that we looked at?
For Mr.
That one,
Hawkins?
yep, that's Mr. Hawkins, and that's 12/31/2020.
20, okay.
Yes, so it's the end of this
That's
year.
the one that's, yes. So we can address that too at the February 2nd meeting, if you will.
I'm sorry, we have an appointment to 12/31/2020. That's not where, it's the alternate to that board.
No, this is the council liaison.
I got you.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
talking
Yeah.
about, so
Okay.
that we have,
Okay.
yes. And so I can send those out to everyone.
Yeah.
And then you can reply back, and I will include, like I said, most of them are as necessary, but a couple of them have a time when it would be held if it were to be necessary. So, do I need a motion for that, or just?
No.
Okay, I'll follow up.
No, then this was just included in the agenda for clarification.
Okay.
And to put it on public record.
Okay.
So no vote
All
is
right.
necessary.
Okay.
Thank you,
Right.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, it brings us to the new business, which is the 2020 Community Crossing Matching Grant Street Improvement Project.
So this is our first call for funding. There will be a second call for funding in October. So in the January call for funding, we're looking at 3 streets, Margot Lane, Harrison, and Holman. Usually we look at a nexus of information when we select these streets based on pavement condition, proximity to schools, hospitals, arterial roads, average daily traffic. So Harrison and Holman, we normally wouldn't do 2 streets that close to each other, but there's an opportunity to do a major water main replacement at Harrison Street. So we'd have to dig that street up anyway. So if we can apply for this grant, likely be awarded this grant, we'll pay half of what we would normally pay for what we'd have to pay anyway. So that's why Harrison and Holman would be together this year. So the contract with SCH contemplates 5 pieces of work, and basically you gotta design the street, go through the bid process, and then they would be what's called the resident project representative, basically keeping the contractor as honest as possible, much like DLZ does on a larger scale. So SCH has done this for us as part of their regular work. I think it would be appropriate to have it just a separate standalone contract for each CMG as we have in the past. So we are looking for a motion that would authorize the town to enter into an agreement with SCH for the tasks associated with the first round of the 2020 Community Crossings Matching Grant Program with INDOT.
I make a motion to accept the SEH proposal for the 2020 street improvement project for the Community Crossing Match Grant Program.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
I have just a general question. I understand that there's a cap on on the community grant at $1 million. Is that right? How much grant funding are we sort of able to get?
That's a good question. I don't know the INDOT rules off the top of my head. I can tell you that we haven't not gotten what we put together. We have a pretty good track record of putting together solid applications. I think the largest grant we've received is about $600,000 so far. This one's for far less than that. So we are looking at applying in October as well. Right?
Be twice in the year.
Yes.
Okay. And if we give grant 600,000, we pay 600, and they give 600, or we split it 30%?
No, it's a dollar for dollar, right? So if we apply for $600,000, we have to have $600,000. Unfortunately, there have been some communities that have kind of gamed this. So the agency, INDOT, has become very strict. So you can't say, well, I got A, B, and C street, and then say, well, D is actually worse than C. So it's going to cost the same, so we're just going to swap it out. They don't like that anymore, right? There's very little flexibility. So you have to, that's why we're doing this now, so we can get almost 30, 50% plans. So when we apply, we know what we will have to pay, right? Because you don't want to get caught, because they say you're going to get X amount of dollars. That means you have to spend X amount of dollars, and if it's more, well, then you should not have been quick and sloppy.
So just to make it clear for me, if we get 600 and it actually costs 700, we're going to have to pay the extra. If we get 600 and it actually costs 500, then what happens?
We pay half of, we pay the 250.
Okay.
And then INDOT takes the bonus.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments?
A voice
Okay,
vote?
okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. And that brings us back to, no reports. We have our announcements are that all town council meetings will begin at 7 p.m. Unless otherwise noted. We are returning to our regular schedule of the meetings taking place on the first and third Mondays. So we will have no meeting on January 27th. We'll have one on February 3rd, no meeting on the 10th, regular meeting on the 17th, no meeting on the 24th, and then we'll return, start March the same way with our regular town council meeting, March 2nd.
Madam Chairman, I move we adjourn.
Seconds.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
I want to do that at least once.
Okay.
And we'll wait for Mr. Castro to run up here.
Oh, man.
Run, John, run.
We've been reserving that chair for you.
Oh, yeah.
I know, he's running up here so he can, this busy agenda we have. Okay. All right, this time at 7:30 PM, I will call to order the Special Redevelopment Commission meeting for January 20th, 2020. And Wendy, have you taken often Dave would take the roll before we
Very good.
actually, sometimes you'd call it, sometimes you'd say, I got it. So,
Okay. This is Commissioner Gardner,
Present.
Commissioner Kulturitis,
Present.
Commissioner Schoon,
Present.
Commissioner Tulowitzki,
Present.
and President Mellon.
Present,
And I also, we have School Board Representative, Mr. Castro.
yes.
Present.
Very good.
Thank you.
Is he not also a commissioner? No?
He's not sworn in as a commissioner.
No, okay.
He's our liaison.
Yes.
Sorry, John.
I liaise.
You liaison,
Yes.
you're- This could be the longest part of the meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, legally, I think he's an ex officio member without the right to vote.
Yes.
Without, okay.
So at this time, brings us to open to the public session. Before I'll ask, is there anyone wishing to speak tonight? Anyone? Seeing none, I'll close open to the public session. And it moves us to our consent agenda.
I make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, may you call the roll, please?
Very good. We have Commissioner Gardner,
Yes.
Commissioner Kulturitis,
Yes.
Commissioner Schoon,
Yes.
Commissioner Tulowitzki,
Yes.
and President Mellon.
Yes.
You're always going to be first, Mr. Gardner, because it's alphabetical.
But last meeting it was by ward.
I went by ward because we didn't have a president yet. So once we hit the president, then our practice has been alphabetical, and then the president votes
Okay,
last.
I've never been first in my life.
You're an S.
Yes.
They
I
never
feel
did
your
reverse
pain.
order?
No.
They never did that?
My
Yeah.
teachers never reversed
You
it.
know.
Nor did
Is
the
that a
planning
problem to say
commission.
that? Because you were always first.
All right. Well, maybe
So
we'll.
Gardner, you're in.
You're it.
Okay. And that brings us up, there are no general orders, no new business, no reports, and no announcements for this evening. That brings us to adjournment.
So moved.
A motion. Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The meeting is adjourned.
Very nice. Thank you all.
Thank you.